Howdy y'all, Dr. K here, and I've had a couple questions that I thought were good questions, so I'd answer them in a way that everyone gets the joy of my voice. Okay, how do you do research when you're not finding stuff in the Leatherby library? So what I'm going to tell you now is what I really do. It's not exactly the way the librarians will tell you to do it. So let's keep it in the family, people, okay? Here's what I do. I first create a Google Doc. I love Google Docs. I use my Google Drive religiously. And you guys have access to the whole Google Suite because of your BU emails. I strongly encourage you to use them. That way it doesn't matter what computer you're on or if you go to your grandma's or wherever you do. You can access your stuff. So I make a doc and I throw out a bunch of keywords and key terms. When I search, I will usually start with the biggest, broadest one in quotation marks, because those quotation marks means that it's looking for that phrase. All right, start big, work my way down. If I start big and I'm still not finding anything, I need to think bigger, or I need to only go to one word at a time, okay? So I'm going to start with this, and here's what I like to do. I actually start with Google Scholar. Yeah, I do. So go to Scholar. Don't do Google in general, or you're setting yourself up for getting suckered in by some fake stuff. So Google Scholar. Do not include patents. We don't need patents. We don't need case law. We want articles. So you can tell I practiced this before doing it. Thanks a lot, Google. So here's what I find with my search. Oh, but hang on. There's some stuff here from 2016. Remember, we're looking at what's happening now. Now, for social context in the past and the history, fine, not a problem. But this is my actual topic, so I want relevant new information. Look over on the side. Since 2015, 2016, 2012, please try to stay within a 5-year range. Now, if there's no information on your topic, yeah, I'll accept older stuff if we have to. Used to have that happen a lot with North Korea or Cuba, but lately there's been newer stuff out of there. But 2012, try not to go back any further than 2012. So I'll say since 2012. And let's see what I get. Okay, there's a journal. Some of these things, trusting the effects. Yeah, that sounds good. It's a PDF. Oh, if I click on it, it'll download. Oh, but if I like it, how do I cite it? Here's a good trick. I'm going to tell this to open in a new tab. When it opens in a new tab, look, I actually get the URL to use for retrieved from blah, blah, blah. Don't fall prey to thinking you have to use the ridiculous Google Scholar link. But let's say I want an article, and I can't get in because all this is going to do is take me to a database that's going to tell me I don't have access to it and ask me to sign in. This is where we go back to so if I click on full article, it's going to cost me bucks. So what do? I look who the author is, and I would copy down the name and the name of the author and the title, stick that in my Google Doc, something I'd like to find. I get a handful of those. Then I go to the Leatherby library. Now, I copied my title. I put it in parentheses in the Discover search. Today, por favor. Are you searching? Yes, no. What? Hang on. Library's freaking out on me. Did the library site crash on me? Search. Oh, it's going to be... Oh, there it is. All right, so it's opening. Oh, do we have it? Boom, we have it. All right. Oh, I'm going to have to request it through an interlerg. Maybe somebody else has it. Scroll down. Alright, so the only way I can actually get that is through... I have to do interlibrary. Check for full text. I'd say that works about 40% of the time. Anyway, that's how I use the Leatherby library. Oh, let me have it. Where can I get this? Now I'm getting sidetracked because I like a good search. Nope, that's not going in. Alright, go back to request list. Try one more time. Oh, maybe we can't. Now, here's the thing. If there's something you really want, there's always a way to get it. But you might have to reach out to the librarian. My point is, oh, did I get it? Web of Science, was it just in a closed database? So they do have it. Look up full text. Okay, again, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Stop it! That's how I use the Leatherby library. I start with Google Scholar, I get a bunch of titles, I get a bunch of authors. Because maybe you can't find the specific article, but authors, especially professors, academics, they tend to have areas where they like to search for a while. And they'll stick with that. You may find multiple things from a single author. I will occasionally go into Journal Finder, but you saw how easy it is to get sucked down a rabbit hole. Don't get sucked down a rabbit hole. You'll find stuff. Stick with Google Scholar, authors, get names you like, get a couple articles. Maybe you'll see a journal name pop up once or twice. Come back in and look for that journal. But let me show you a couple APA things that I've been noticing, okay? So that's a good way to search. And don't let your key terms blind you. Start big and broad and then work your way down, okay? Remember, if it's in quotation marks, it's going to look for only that phrase. If you do technology plus education plus children, it's going to look for something that has all three of those terms, but they're not going to be together. If you do just the three words, technology, education, children, it's going to give you stuff that has, some has all three, some has two, some has only one of those words. The plus means it needs to be somewhere in the article. The quotation mark means that those phrases, the words have to be in that order. Now, I want to show you guys something, and this does lead to piece of information I need to share with you. So, a lot of you have had Dr. Bill Hale, Dr. William Brantley Hale. If you didn't know what the B stood for, now you do. He and I wrote a paper together that is being published in January, and I am leaving tonight, in about 5 hours, to fly to Washington, D.C. and present this paper at a big conference. Big nerd teacher conference, and I'm really excited. So, two things. Number one, office hours Monday, not going to happen. I'm terribly sorry. The 14th, Monday the 14th is actually when I am presenting the paper. So, email me if there's a problem and you want to talk. There will be no open office hours this next Monday. But what I want to point out is, when we presented this paper, when we wrote this paper, after 3 months of working together and almost killing each other, love, the APA had to be perfect for it to be submitted. Okay? Then, when the paper got accepted, we were sent publishing guidelines. Trust me, this is going somewhere you want to listen. We were sent publishing guidelines. Every journal that prints, if it's fully online, it's different. But if it's actually being printed in a journal, they're going to have their own tweaks to the APA because they're paying for paper. And it's their journal, so they all want to have their own rules. So when you submit, it has to be perfectly double-spaced, everything the APA says. Then when you're lucky enough to get your paper accepted for publication, Then you get all these rules and you have to modify it. This is now a 15-page paper. This was submitted as a 50-page paper. But you'll see we had to take out the double spacing and the citation page is a little funky. Why is this important? Because please don't take your APA rules off of the journals you read. They demand APA when the papers are submitted so that everything can be read cleanly and clearly, and then anybody can go through and double check those references before they agree to publish it. But when it's published, they totally mess it up. So don't look at a journal and go, oh, this is single space. I thought APA was double space. It is. Okay? And then when you get down to, and this is where people really get tripped up, this reference page, this entire reference section, this is not clean APA. And it killed me. It killed me to undo all that beautiful APA. But you do what you got to do if you want to get published. So I want to point out, let's find a couple of those things. Some of these rules still apply, right? It's still always author last name, comma, first initial. If there's more than one first initial, you have to have a space in between them. C period space, M period, comma. Next guy, before the ampersand, there is always a comma. Before the ampersand, there is always a comma, right? All right, this is a book. How do I know it's a book? Because the title is in italics and then there's a publisher. Boom. That's a book. This one is a book. Let's see. This was a website. Ah, here's a good one. This is an issue a lot of people have. This is a website that was off of a very formal faculty work comprehensive list. That's a formal website. See, it's digital collections, .edu faculty work, right? This is a very formal presentation. Clark is the author. I had an author. And this is the title of the actual article he's got up on the webpage. But because it's a big formal, like Time Magazine, like the New York Times, Business Financial International, it's the title of the web big important database that we use with the italics. That's the key thing I would use, and there's my URL. But, and this is where a lot of people getting tripped up. If I didn't have, I was going to put my thumb over it. If I didn't have an author, and this was cited as just the website itself. So the author was the publishing entity, faculty work, comprehensive list. If that was my author, then you know what? I wouldn't need to repeat it here. And I would have italicized the name of the article, because then I'd go right into retrieved from. Got it? Time Magazine. If there is a listed author, the author gets the credit, parentheses. So author, parentheses, title of the article, Time Magazine, in italics. If there's no author, Time Magazine is the author. Time Magazine, date, title of the article, in italics. Retrieve from, blah, blah, blah. All right, I hope that helps. So again, guys, Monday, no open office hours, and I'm giving you a heads up. Next week, it's probably going to take me longer to get all your feedback to you, because I will actually not be returning to Los Angeles until Wednesday afternoon. I will absolutely be working. The first thing I'm going to focus on getting you feedback on is your journals, your article, just anything to do with the signature assignment, the annotated bibs and journaling. That stuff is always top priority to me, so you have it to work forward with. and now I've used 50